Sam Bankman-Fried faces more criminal charges from federal prosecutors. New indictment offers detailed allegations about FTX founders' conduct before crypto exchange collapse. I'm Tyrone Bowman. This is Tyrone Bowman Tonight. According to the Wall Street Journal, federal prosecutors charged Sam Bankman-Fried with several additional financial crimes and offered expansive new details about the FTX founders' alleged conduct before the collapse of his cryptocurrency exchange. A new indictment unsealed Thursday charges the 33-year-old Mr. Bankman-Fried with 4 more criminal counts, on top of the 8 prosecutors brought in an indictment they filed in December. Weeks after FTX's implosion, Mr. Bankman-Fried pleaded not guilty to the prior charges, which alleged he stole billions of dollars of FTX customer funds, in addition to misleading investors and lenders. A spokesman for Mr. Bankman-Fried didn't respond to a request for comment. The new charges from the U.S. Attorney's Office in Manhattan alleged the former crypto star conspired to commit bank fraud and operate an unlicensed money transmitting business. He also faces new securities and commodities fraud counts. The indictment provided a comprehensive account of Mr. Bankman-Fried's alleged conduct, which prosecutors have said led to a multi-billion-dollar fraud that was among the biggest in U.S. history. They also provided a series of new details about his alleged effort to skirt campaign finance laws and court influence with politicians of both parties through an unlawful donation scheme. Prosecutors said that since 2019, billions of dollars in FTX customer funds were illegally used as capital for Mr. Bankman-Fried's crypto investment firm, Alameda Research. In promoting FTX, Mr. Bankman-Fried falsely presented himself as a trustworthy, law-abiding figure in the cryptocurrency industry, whose company had adopted principles to ensure customer and investor protections, prosecutors said. Contrary to Bankman-Fried's promises to FTX customers that the exchange would protect their interests and segregate their assets, Bankman-Fried routinely tapped FTX customer assets to provide interest-free capital for his and Alameda's private expenditures, and in the process exposed FTX customers to massive undisclosed risks, the indictment said. Prosecutors said that as the exchange collapsed last November and FTX lacked sufficient funds to meet customer demand for withdrawals, Mr. Bankman-Fried lied in a bid to stop a run on the exchange, saying it was heavily regulated and had sufficient assets. The indictment newly alleges that he lied to an unnamed U.S. bank, which a person familiar with the matter identified as Silvergate Capital Corp., to be able to engage in transactions without heavy scrutiny. A representative for Silvergate, one of the crypto market's top banks, didn't respond to a request for comment. When FTX launched, many banks were reluctant to do business with crypto companies unless they had extensive due diligence and licensing requirements, prosecutors said. To get around these rules, Mr. Bankman-Fried concealed from bank officials the true nature of an account that held FTX customer deposits. The indictment says Alameda regularly took money from customers' funds to finance trades and expenses as well as venture investments, prosecutors said. The indictment also provides details for allegations that Mr. Bankman-Fried siphoned off FTX customer funds and unlawfully donated tens of millions of dollars to Democratic and Republican candidates and causes, leading him to become one of the largest publicly reported donors in the 2022 midterm elections. He had previously been charged with violating campaign finance laws, but Thursday's unsealed charges explicitly state the purpose of the donations to gain political influence in Washington, including over federal policy on cryptocurrency. Mr. Bankman-Fried to avoid certain contributions being attached to his name, had two other FTX executives make the donations. The executives, who aren't identified by name in the indictment, are FTX Engineering Director Nashad Signa and Ryan Salame, co-chief executive of the exchange's Bahamas-based unit, FTX Digital Markets, according to people familiar with the matter. A lawyer for Mr. Signa declined to comment. A lawyer for Mr. Salame didn't respond to a request for comment. Mr. Signa's name was primarily attached to left-leaning pending, the indictment says, with a political consultant telling him that he would be donating to woke causes for transactional purposes. At the direction of Mr. Bankman-Fried, Mr. Salame mostly donated to right-leaning candidates, according to the indictment. Mr. Bankman-Fried was extradited from the Bahamas in December and has been under home confinement in California while awaiting trial. In recent weeks, the presiding judge has said he wants tighter bail conditions for Mr. Bankman-Fried, including barring him from using applications that allow encrypted and disappearing messages. As FTX unraveled, Mr. Bankman-Fried instructed employees to use the messaging application Signal, set to auto-delete to prevent the preservation of evidence that could be used against him, the indictment says. Two of his associates, former FTX chief technology officer Gary Wang and Caroline Ellison, the chief executive Alameda, have pleaded guilty to fraud charges and other offenses. They are cooperating with prosecutors, and their admissions in court conflict with Mr. Bankman-Fried's account of what happened behind the scenes at FTX. During Ms. Ellison's pre-hearing, pardon me for that mistake there, she said that in her role at Alameda, she reported to Mr. Bankman-Fried, adding that the two of them worked with others to provide misleading financial statements to lenders. The new indictment includes a message Ms. Ellison wrote in early November when Alameda began liquidating its assets so that FTX could attempt to satisfy its customers' withdrawals. I just had an increasing dread of this day that was weighing on me for a long time, and now that it's actually happening, it feels great to get it over with, one way or another. Whew. What a story. Also, to those of you who illegally obtain those PP loans or PPL loans or whatever they call them, you better be very careful because your day is coming as well. I'm Tyrone Bowman. Never surrender. Never quit.